Well, hello, Police Science Doctor Tribe. This is Suzanne Knaber-Nicole from policesciencedoctor.com, the website where law enforcement practitioners, intelligence practitioners, military, police, anyone in that field can actually go to learn something from science that has been published, but is not usually accessible to them. I turn science into little snippets of videos, podcasts, and these snippets that I'm going to be presenting right now. So every Tuesday, anyone who is subscribed to the Police Science Doctor email list, which is free, gets something into their inbox that contains 3 golden nuggets of police science-related research. So these nuggets have been selected because I think they're actionable and they're tangible and they can be used straight away in some kind of way or fashion. That I'll leave up to you. And the email always has the link to the original research in it. So you can actually go and see what was written about that if you can access the full article. So the snippets for this week are as follows. The first one is dropping out from school and violent victimization. Dropping out of school leads to increased experiences of violent victimization, primarily due to a change in opportunity structure associated with risky lifestyles and routine activities. So those children who actually leave school start spending their time doing other things that massively increase the risk of becoming victims of violence. So it's not only that perhaps delinquency can rise, but also the victimization in a violent way can rise as well. So that is something to keep in mind. And obviously we know that school exclusions can be a precursor to a criminal career. So that is something we need to avoid if we can in any way. The second one is about mental health in prisoners and partners of prisoners. A large proportion of prisoners experience mental health problems, in part due to previous trauma, but also through environmental stresses in prison. Their partner's mental health deteriorates when the prisoners are released from prison. We need better mental health support to prisoners whilst they're in prison and following prison release, but also mental health support for their partners following the prisoner's release. That is something that hasn't been considered much. So partners have been looked at in terms of economic chances and rehabilitation of the offenders, but not really in terms of how their mental health is affected themselves. And the third science snippet for today is about police mental health stigma. Very, very big topic. Anyone who was interested knows that, or I will tell you now, that there was a mental health and policing webinar that I set up earlier this year. If you go to policesciencedoctor.com and just click on events, you will find it all there. And I also did a free workshop series on stress resilience in policing. So these are all free events. Please go and watch them if you're interested. So the snippet is as follows. Officers and staff avoid seeking help due to a culture of invincibility, a lack of confidentiality, and a fear of hampering their career progression. Supervisors and peers often doubt the validity or genuineness of colleagues with mental ill health, insinuating that reported absences are not bona fide and worse, malingering. So all of this we covered in the webinar, and we heard from police officers serving and former police officers who talked about the stigma and the prohibitive culture in policing. It makes it really, really difficult to get adequate support and recognition for mental health problems. And there's a lot of work underway to remedy that, but it's really down to every single officer, but particularly those in charge. And it starts with chiefs, I would say. So very interesting piece here. And actually the second article about the mental health in prisoners and their partners, and the third article about police mental health stigma can be fully accessed. So sometimes I can only link to articles that will only have the abstract, as in the summary. Everything else you have to get behind a subscription wall, which most of you won't be able to do. But the number 2 and 3 in this series are actually fully accessible, which is good. So I hope you found these interesting, and I'll be speaking to you next week. And if you would like to receive these kind of snippets into your inbox and access to all the previous snippets as PDFs, you can build yourself a library of all these snippets I've been publishing. This was number 49. I don't know if I should have a party next week for Police Science Snippet number 5. That means I've been doing it for 50 weeks then. But you'll be able to access the read page, which is password protected on the Police Science Doctor website, and all the PDFs are on there. So you can just go download all of them if you want and start reading through and learning. So I'll speak to you next week. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this content useful. You can get access to each episode's transcript with key learning points, timestamps, and references if you get yourself onto my mailing list. Just go to the main website on policesciencedoctor.com, and on the bottom of each page you will find a sign-up form for notifications of new content. Just enter your first name, your preferred email address, and the type of organization you work for. You will not get any spam, This is just for me to let you know about new content and for you to get access to all the transcripts.